right, Jose. It is episode 14, and now our third episode of being on YouTube. And hey, I guess third time's a charm because we're both coming back as happy in the Dub Club for the Bears, of course, and then, of course, also for the Cowboys.
Hey, it's been a long time coming. It feels good. It feels good.
Sure.
I'm back on the bandwagon. Being a Bears fan, it's very fickle. It's a lot of give and take, a lot of taking more than giving.
Both highly criticized quarterbacks, Andy Dalton and Mitch Trubisky, both came out with the dubs too. More importantly, sort of a revenge game for Dalton, one might say.
Hey, yeah, revenge game. He didn't look too bad.
Yeah, he's all right. He did
Got the
enough.
win. That's the most important thing. He got the win. Because if you would have lost to the Bengals, man, bad.
Especially the Burrowless Bengals.
Exactly.
So we got a lot to be happy about. So I'm gonna go ahead and crack one open.
Cheers.
Nice. Cheers, bud.
It tastes a lot better after a win.
Ah, it is. It's more crisp. Love it. So let's jump up with the Week 14 run back, and then of course we'll go on to the Week 15 team pickems, and then our fantasy for sure shots and long shots for Week 15 as well.
You want to go ahead and start off with that fantastic game last night?
Yeah, you know what? We can start it off. We can start it off with the Ravens 47 and the Browns 42. Let's also start off with Lamar Jackson had to take a shit.
I mean, I told you as soon as they whoever had that tunnel video of him running, he didn't look like he had a cramp.
Yeah, they should have kept that and sold it to TMZ after the game.
Yeah, man.
Whoever had that, they dropped the ball.
Hey, took a 10-minute shit, came back, had one play,
and shat all over the Browns.
Down. Just magic.
Well, he came back on 4th and 5, right?
Yeah,
when he made the throw. Yeah,
and it was just the most convenient time too because the backup hurt himself.
Yeah, McSorley.
It was the 2-minute timeout at that point. So
yeah, again, crazy ending for it too with the safety. I don't know if there's some mafiosos in the background who needed to shave some points here and there, but for it to lateral all the way back and end up as a safety,
it's insane. Cody Parkey's going to do Cody Parkey type of things and miss field goals. When are you going to learn? Can't trust those guys.
There's got to be a plethora of kickers out there that are not being looked at. There just has to be.
Yeah, you could just go and grab someone off of college, someone off of high school maybe. The way these vets are kicking this season are just terrible.
Unless you're Justin Tucker.
Yeah, I mean, come
on.
The
guy's money. The guy's money. I mean, you're looking at the graphic whenever everything's going on. They just barely make that little graphic where it says where he's good from, and money. Ice in his veins. Walks up to it, just nails it straight in.
I think he was 44 for 45.
Yeah, he's only missed one.
And I mean those are the kind of guys that you want to give all the money to because when the game's on the line, just put it somewhere in the vicinity and he's gonna fucking make it.
He's got it. Get him past a little graphic. Everybody's got the tablets. Everybody knows where to go. Get him past there. The guy's money. But I mean, it was a damn good game. A lot of back and forth. Really good offensive game. I mean, more of the surprise is how good Lamar Jackson. Only 11 of 17, but all those attempts was really good in the air. And then I mean, he was just getting it done on the ground with his feet, of course.
I might have got a little ahead of myself and pretty much dogged Marquise Brown for that drop toward the end of the game, but he totally redeemed himself. Not really a big game other than that catch. I think on the offensive side, Lamar Jackson just running all over everybody. Even Gus Edwards was looking pretty nice. And if you have him on your team, I think this is back-to-back weeks that he's scored a touchdown.
Yeah, where he's produced. And I mean, it also helps. I mean, Lamar Jackson, 124 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns.
Welcome back.
That's what he does. I mean, again, we're back to this new era where we have dual threat quarterbacks, and he is the cream of the crop when it comes to that.
Yeah. That was just it just looked like it was bad management
Yeah,
towards the end for Baltimore, and then Lamar Jackson had to take a shit, so that was really bad timing.
yeah,
And then they just figured out a way to get it down.
yeah. Not enough time
Just
on the clock for. I mean, there was enough time on the clock for the Browns. Ravens defense just did a good job of keeping them out of the end zone, of course. And as good. I mean, there was nothing really to say bad about the Browns. Everybody looked good on both sides of the ball. They
yeah,
just got
Baker
outplayed by
Mayfield.
the more dynamic team or the more
Yeah, I
dynamic
mean,
quarterback.
you have Baker. He wasn't making amazing throws.
Yeah,
He was making safe throws, and he was accurate. And then you have Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt just doing whatever they want on the field. Like
yeah,
that right there is a just a crazy duo to have on your team. And then you have Landry just catching, go moving down the field. I wouldn't have thought that he was going to be having such a good season towards the end of the season the way
hmm
he is right now, especially with Odell being hurt and he didn't get off to a good start.
yeah. Again, if you're a Browns fan, you're going to be upset about the loss, but I don't think you can be disappointed by the way your team played. If anything, I mean, for once, this is the first time in years. Browns are 9-4. They're going to be. They're here to stay. They're still a young team. They got a lot of talent around them now, and it's going to be exciting for Browns fans. I mean, you guys finally have a team. It's just meshing. Obtaining one more wide receiver or hoping OBJ can actually play a full season without being injured. But other than that, I mean, if
Get a
Baker Mayfield
combination
can play
kicker.
this type of football as he has been these past couple weeks, then again, it's an exciting team. I like what I saw. It was
Yeah.
one of the
I
most
was
exciting
not
games all
expecting
season.
this. I was expecting this type of game for the Steelers Bills game.
Yeah,
That was a snooze fest. And to have this offensive explosion from these two teams,
mm-hmm.
it was fantastic football. And
Well, yeah. I mean, Mayfield's throwing as if he has the wide receiving talent and core that Roethlisberger has. We would
yeah,
expect the Steelers to be as explosive as we see the Browns be. But again, Browns fun to watch. They got good defense. Mayfield, when he's in tune on point, top tier quarterback, at least top 10. Whenever he's on point, but that's the deal. He's not consistent.
when he's on
Yeah,
point is
when he can
good.
string these games, he has the potential to be a top 10, but he can't consistently string these games together.
Right.
That's the only deal.
Fantastic game. I had so much fun watching it. Now so surprised.
So let's move on to the next one, which was a little bit of a bummer. The Steelers 15 to the Bills 26. Again, Steelers are frauds.
Exposed, maybe
Exposed. Tougher teams.
tougher teams losing games.
The NFC East was just a cushion for them.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It padded those numbers. And when is Juju gonna stop dancing in the middle of the opponent's field? Like that's already back to back weeks that
Yeah. I
they've
mean, he got one. He got his touchdown, but then he did get that one ball grabbed from him because the defender actually attacked the ball instead of him attacking the ball, and it turned into that
yeah.
interception. But I don't know. I mean, you can tell some Steelers fans are getting upset with it, with the TikToks, like the memes and everything that are kind of coming out of it. He's been making more TikToks than he has big plays. I mean, they're onto something. I mean, nobody wants to really see that when you really aren't putting up the numbers to kind of back that.
See, I'm not really mad at that
Yeah,
because at the end of the day, he's still doing his job. It's just Roethlisberger has so many weapons, and I mean, he has his pick. Whoever's open is going to get it.
well, did you see where Josh Allen addressed it though? Like in the pregame speech before they got onto the field,
No, I didn't.
he said it was something along the lines like, "We're gonna let them do their dancing. We're gonna come here because we came to play."
I like it.
Again, mentality comes out 26-15. Josh Allen again playing lights out fucking football.
Yeah, this guy's a fucking stud.
He
And
is one word to describe Josh Allen is competitive.
yeah,
That
for
guy
sure.
will again, like we said last week, he loves to extend these plays when there's little to nothing happening. He will extend it for as long as he can just to try and make something out of nothing.
Yeah, and it kind of gets you nervous sometimes too. Like you're like,
Yeah,
just get rid of the ball. Get rid of the ball.
It is.
Get rid of the ball.
It's bad. It's entertaining, but it's also bad at the same time because you wanted to see him, bail out on some of these. But when he makes, that little magic happen, it's good things for Buffalo, of course.
Quiet day for Cole Beasley.
Yeah.
Quiet day. He's back to his normal self.
Stephon Diggs still consistent for these guys. 10 receptions, 130 yards, and 1 touchdown.
Hey, this guy is having himself a season.
It was proof of what he was saying. Throw me the ball when he asked for the ball in Minnesota. This is what he's doing. Everybody thought, oh no, Adam Thielen was making him look better because he was from the other side of him. He doesn't. There's a slot receiver that comes in at which is Cole Beasley. There's nobody on the side of Stephon Diggs that is Adam Thielen like.
Yeah. But oh man, just Stephon Diggs' production on this team is just crazy.
Yeah.
And you would think that they would scheme against it, but he still figures out a way to get the ball, and that's impressive.
I mean, he's one of the top route runners in the league for sure.
Yeah.
Always finds a way to get open. There's not really much else, to say about Stephon Diggs. I mean, the guy's a freak out wide receiver. He's very similar to the connection between Adams and Rodgers, between him and Allen. They've already developed that chemistry this quick, which is good for Bills.
Yeah, the only thing that the Bills need to work on is what we've been saying over and over each week is that run game.
Yeah.
Like, we don't know who is going to step up. And especially as they get deeper into the season, they need to really secure that position or at least get some productivity from them to save a little bit of life from Josh Allen's career.
Yeah, no, I agree. A little bit of O-line help too, maybe. But more importantly, they got rid of a lot of these, I guess you could say more of their veteran defensive players coming into this year to make room for the Stephon Diggs contract, of course. Yeah. And, some of these younger guys are starting to get it. They're starting to mold. This defense is kind of shaping to what it kind of looked like from last year. But, hey, they have a young defense now to build on, and maybe acquiring somebody else either in the draft or via free agency if you can get them for the right price, just to kind of stiffen up that defense if they don't end up making it this year.
Yeah.
But I think that's the only 2 weak points right now for this Bills team is just the defense and the run game.
Yeah, everything else is just lights out. They have a great coach, fantastic quarterback, outstanding receiver, and, what else do you want?
And then when you go to the Steelers, it's just the same deal. They face these tougher teams, and their explosive offense just disappears. Their run game, which, again, looks amazing against weak teams, but is non-existent against any of these better teams.
Yeah. A lot of question marks now. A lot of question marks. And it's not going to be easy for them. Like, I think they've already lost that mojo. They lost that spark that they had that, they walked in like they had a 9-inch cock coming into the fucking, and now it's like, oh shit, what are we going to do?
No, I get you. I guess a good thing for the Steelers is they're at least 2 games ahead of the Browns, who are the closest to them. They pretty much already got it clinched from this point. So thankfully, again, they took advantage of that soft schedule, and they're at least going to be in the playoffs. Now, will they last past the first round? They may not.
They have a nice pick-me-up game this week against Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And if they lose that one, watch out. They won't hear the end of that.
I think that's a good game, to at least get your offense back on track, run up the points on before you more than likely sit all your starters the next game.
Yeah, get the confidence back.
You got to get that game to get the confidence. Yeah. No, I agree. That's going to be much needed. So let's go to the next game. You got the Saints 21 to the Eagles 24. Eagles come off with the win. This is the first game for Jalen Hurts. And I'm pretty sure you can silence the critics now. Carson Wentz has the same staff, couldn't pull out a dub, but yet the rookie quarterback comes in for his first start. It's a dub against a good Saints defense.
And I think I called this one. He doesn't look bad.
Yeah.
He still looks like he has a little bit of the jitters, but it's his first game. But you could see the energy when he's on the field, especially with the other players on the field with him. I mean, Alshon Jeffrey got a fucking touchdown.
He's been magically getting some here and there, but yeah, it's still Alshon Jeffrey.
I know you don't want to hear it, but the Eagles, man.
Yeah, no. With Jalen Hurts at the helm, total different game. I mean, you look at the quarterback stats alone, 167, one touchdown. But what differs is, again, you look at quarterback, guy rushed 18 times for 106 yards on the ground. And then to cap it off, your running back also rushes another 14 attempts for 115 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Where has that been all season?
Carson Wentz is not going to be as mobile as this kid.
Well, no, I'm saying like Miles Sanders.
Miles Sanders. He's been hit or miss this season. He hasn't been. Yeah. He hasn't been as consistent.
Do you think because Hurst is so mobile that it kind of gives them a little bit of a leeway?
Oh yeah, I mean, and the run pass options and everything like that, like it definitely opens it up for Sanders because now you got to worry about either the quarterback or the running back instead of just worrying about one. Carson Wentz held onto the ball way too much, had troubles with fumbling, was very undecisive this season, and you see this kid Hurts come in, he's either sees somebody there, takes a chance out of his hands, or he's just going to take off and run when he sees grass.
Yeah. Do you think this is the last time we see Mr. Taysom Hill at QB?
Well, I don't know if have they finalized anything for Drew Brees yet? I know they were still iffy if he was going to start this week or not.
Yeah, it's still up in the air.
It wasn't a good outing for Taysom Hill, though.
No. I mean, he threw 2 touchdowns, or he had 2 touchdowns.
But he doesn't look like he's ready. Like, it's kind of the same thing with Carson Wentz issue, where they hold on the ball for way too long. And again, issue with Taysom Hill is fumbling.
Yeah. I mean, Michael Thomas back on the map. Alvin Kamara still doing what he does.
Kamara's your workhorse. He's pretty much like the Christian McCaffrey equivalent for the Saints.
Yeah, I think the shocker was that the Saints defense didn't just decimate the Eagles.
Yeah, especially with how banged up that O-line is. I would have not expected this to be that close of a game. I thought maybe 14 points and then the Saints up 20 plus. I mean, up like over 20 at least. I didn't expect the Saints defense to have this much of a hard time with this struggling Eagles offense, especially with the new quarterback in.
I mean, I had predicted it, but it was still shocking to see it happen in front of my eyes.
Yeah.
I really thought that the Saints were just going to roll over the Eagles and collect another dub under Taysom Hill. But, hey, what are you going to
do? They need Drew Brees back is what they need. Taysom Hill's just still not ready yet.
Oh, yeah, he's not ready at all.
It's a fun experiment for the meantime while Brees is hurt, but realistically, I don't know. I know they signed him the money for $20 million plus, but I don't know. I'm not sold on the Taysom Hill hype.
I'm not either. Fantasy owners want Drew Brees back as well, especially now heading into playoffs.
So let's move on to the next game. Washington football team got the 23 points to the San Francisco 49ers 15. Jose's Cinderella story for Alex Smith keeps on keeping on, although he did leave with an injury. But it's going to be day-to-day on that.
What do you want me to say, man? Like, they're playing good football, winning football. Chase Young, sheesh.
Their defense is something to watch. They may have the best defense in the league.
The replay of him scooping up the ball and running, I was like, Jesus, this guy is huge.
You slap a Titans uniform on him, that's Derrick Henry.
Yeah, I was like, wow. Like, there's no way, like, try tackling him.
Yeah.
I dare you.
There's no, he was a train that was derailed. There was no way of stopping that guy.
Yeah. It's just a feel-good team. I know they're in your division, but San Francisco should have won this game. Alex Smith, look, Cinderella story, he's back in the NFL. Yeah. He's starting again. Not the best quarterback play, right? But still led them to the dub. that it's more of like a team effort.
I
I
mean,
think
when your
overall
defense
team
is that
effort
good,
instead of like
yeah, when your defense is that good, I mean, you don't
yeah,
have to necessarily be spectacular on the offense side of the ball. You just got to do your job and get at least a field goal or the touchdown when it's there in front of you. But as far as Washington goes, one thing is the run game without Antonio Gibson is not the same. Antonio Gibson at least gives them a better edge in the backfield for sure. Because
yeah.
McKissick,
McKissick
Barber,
isn't your
yeah,
yeah. Those are not your workhorses that, or at least like the running back that you want to have the ball
yeah.
a lot. So I agree with that. On the other side of the ball, Mullins, has a lot of heart. Just
And then
not that good.
they may need to really reevaluate the quarterback room there. Like I know you're gonna stick with Jimmy G, but in case something happens now with the injury history of the guy, maybe kind of feel this out. You've seen a lot of these other quarterbacks now, especially this season, that have stepped in. A lot of these
Yeah,
second string guys, so maybe kind of pull and pluck from here and there. But yeah, I mean, San Francisco, they're doing as much as they can with an already banged up roster, and you got to give it to them. They're at least they all play with heart. The team does. Team
yeah, they do.
coaching, they play with heart. That you don't ever see them check out, give up on any of these games. They make it competitive.
Yeah, and do you think fantasy wise, at least now that people are getting into the playoffs, is there anyone on the San Francisco squad that you would be willing to start?
Um, Depends on the matchup for the defenses, of course, especially with you're in the final two games now for fantasy owners. But I mean, the only one I guess you could feel comfortable starting here is going to be Brendan Ayuk. That's probably it.
Or Devo, maybe?
Yeah, Debo. I
Maybe.
don't know. I feel like Ayuk gets some of the bigger home run plays from him.
Yeah.
Debo. I don't know. I just feel like a lot of the bigger plays have been recently going to Ayuk, and that could be because Debo is getting more of the harder matchups on his end. But maybe I don't know. Running backs too. I wouldn't really take a chance right now, but I feel better with Ayuk over Debo. Now I think Debo's a better wide receiver than him, as far as the way the ball's getting thrown and who's at quarterback. I think there's better chemistry between Mullins and Ayuk than it is between him and Debo.
Yeah, I agree. I feel you on that.
But I mean, other than that, yeah, I still got to give it to the 49ers. I mean, they're playing with a lot of heart, and I can't hate on that at all.
No. Um, just the other team is playing really good right now.
Yeah.
Well, not really good, but they're playing well enough to get these wins.
Well,
And
yeah,
especially like right now at this point of the season, just insane.
yeah. No, and they're playing good defensive football too, which I enjoy. It's fun to watch. Hate that it's in my division, but hey, still a fan of football regardless, so I'm cool with it.
But this also just solidifies that Dwayne Haskins is trash.
Yeah, all that
Just
talk when he got drafted and the Giants skipping him for Danny Dimes.
yeah,
I'm not
man.
seeing it translate, my guy. Like you've gotten
Like
already so much opportunity. It's just
this
he's
was
a little
his
bit slow
time to
behind that learning
maybe
curve. That's the only deal. He's just a little bit slow behind that learning curve right now.
yeah, and you would think like this would have been his opportunity to get the reins back.
Yeah,
Maybe stepping in when he got hurt and maybe producing a little bit, but the offense just looked horrendous
yeah.
with him behind center.
And again, he's a guy that you may want to even see, run more with the ball as well. He's got that potential. He's got that capability, and you just don't see it flash out there. He just still looks undecisive. Again, that keeps being the theme of this week. Like we're seeing all these quarterbacks that this is why they're not in a starting role.
Right.
And again, Washington, I don't know. Alex Smith here next year, you take another chance on him. Um, who do you reevaluate, or who comes up as a free agent at this point for them next year at quarterback?
Yeah. I don't know, man. We'll see.
All right, so let's move on. Next game, Atlanta Falcons 17 to the Chargers 20. Justin Herbert
Welcome
finally
back.
welcome back, getting another dub. 36 of 44, 243 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Also helps that Austin Eckler's on the ground for 79 yards. And then also is also your leading receiver for 67 yards.
And then, you have Matt Ryan, throwing picks
Yeah.
per usual.
3 interceptions to his 1 touchdown. Matty Ice. I think everybody's ready to move on from the Matty Ice era.
He can't be Matty Ice no more.
Yeah, it's just Mr. Ryan.
Matty Ice is gone. It's gone.
One upside, again, of course, that always has been for this season, Calvin Ridley, 8 receptions, 124 yards, and 1 touchdown. They literally found a diamond in the rough when they drafted that kid. He is going to be spectacular for the oncoming years. Whatever quarterback they have, somebody take advantage of.
And I thought we were picking up a diamond in the rough as the Bears when we got his brother, Riley Ridley, and he's been like a healthy scratch like since last season. So
yeah,
not really the same as his brother. Maybe he just needs a little bit more development. But man, the Calvin Ridley has really stepped up, and especially when Julio Jones is hurt.
Yeah.
Just you could see the talent that this kid has.
Yeah, anywhere else he could probably be a number 1 wide receiver for any other team. Easily. Kid's got talent. I mean, if anything, the other wide receiver of this year's class that reminds me of him is going to be Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
Even though, I mean, they're like technically, 2 or 3 years apart, still.
And that's the scary thing about Jefferson. That's the scary thing about Jefferson is he is producing like a vet right now.
Yeah.
A high-paying vet right now. So Minnesota better get the bag ready because he's going to want it.
For sure. Well, I think he'll get the opportunity because, I mean, he just got signed. He's a rookie this year. So it'll pay out to where they're already done paying all the money for Kirk Cousins. So that will get transitioned to him. Yeah. What will happen. Todd Gurley, though, kind of fallen off, kind of plateaued already towards the end of the season. I know he got a little bit banged up in the middle of the season, but this is the kind of Todd Gurley everybody expected that we would see in week 1, but now we're seeing this in week 14.
Yeah, you didn't pay to get Todd Gurley.
Yeah.
And then have Ito Smith being your top producer this late into the season. Like, this is supposed to be prime time, Gurley time.
Yeah.
Especially with the way Matt Ryan has been playing lately. You would think that they would try to make something come from the ground game, but we're not seeing that.
Yeah, no, Todd Gurley's kind of checked out towards the end of this season. But other than that, I mean, Falcons, it's a wrap on the season for them for sure. I think it'll be interesting to see what happens with Matt Ryan, what goes from there. Well, maybe. I mean, if they go away from him this year, what if would you give Matty Ice? I'm still gonna call him Matty Ice. Would you give him a chance at Washington?
Yeah, I could see that happening.
Be bad.
I could see that happening.
So who knows? So I think it's going to be an interesting free agency this year for sure, especially with a lot of changes, a lot of injuries that's been going on. Then also you even still have Dak and the Cowboys, so who knows?
Oh, we'll get to Dak later.
Anything can happen. So let's move on. Packers 31 to the Lions 24. Aaron Rodgers still continues to be a bad man. 26 of 33, 290 yards, 3 touchdowns. And, of course, his better counterpart, who should be in the MVP race. But right now it's more than likely going to go to Rodgers, I believe.
You think so? I hope not. Because before the season even started, one of my good friends is a Packers fan.
Uh-huh.
And one night we were getting pretty, we were throwing them down.
Okay.
And we started making, preseason bets against each other. And one of them was that Aaron Rodgers would win MVP. And let's put that shit to bed. I don't want that shit.
So realistically, the start of the season, the first 6-7 games, Russell Wilson looked like he was just going to be in first place to win it. But then everything went downhill for Wilson. He hasn't looked as hot as he has been lately. Now it's pretty much, if it's going to go to a quarterback, it's going to be between Mahomes and Rodgers. But now Mahomes, which we'll get to his game, he's coming off of 3 interceptions, which thankfully for Rodgers, he had that type of game 4 to 5 weeks ago. So what everybody's going to remember is what's currently going on right now. So it's
Yeah.
between Mahomes and Rodgers at the QB level, but I feel like you can throw Devontae Adams. I mean, I think he had a set a franchise record. I believe it was like 8 touchdowns, consecutive 8 touchdowns. And that's where Devontae Adams is at. He got a touchdown, 115 yards this game. I would, as of this season, best wide receiver, Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
There's nobody else. Number one wide
And,
receiver, Devontae Adams.
and that's even missing games.
Exactly.
Yeah. If he didn't even miss those games, like his numbers would be even more crazy.
Well, because he's not like the guys like Tyreek Hill, where their big plays are like whenever they're getting in open space and making things happen. Devontae Adams is like he's different. He's either beating people in jump balls, contested, whatever you throw at him, it's always some type of stunning catch or some type of stunning play by the kid.
Yeah, no, he's really proven that I would say wide receiver one overall.
Yeah, for sure.
I know last year it was D Hop, but he's kind of died down now.
Yeah, he's later in these past recent weeks. He's kind of the hype for D Hop's kind of died down. I mean, he had that nice, touchdown, the Hail Mary pass, of course. Everybody knows that. But I mean, consistency
What
again. Devontae Adams.
What have you done for me lately?
Exactly.
That's how fickle these fans are.
And then and he's making it happen with nobody else really across from him besides, they have like Alan Lazard, MVS, MVS who got a touchdown, 85 yards for Scantling. But other than that, I mean, there's not really like a solid, I would say, number 2 wide receiver, which is why they were looking at Will Fuller at one point across from Adams. And he's doing this solely as I'm the number 1 guy. Everybody knows I'm the number 1 guy. Everybody knows you're going to throw it to me, but I'm still making shit happen.
Yeah, and I mean, they might be able to get Fuller cheap now.
Yeah.
If they still
if that's the route where they're wanting to go.
Yeah. So,
but I think it was more about that at that deadline point, trying to beef him up for this season, just because they would have that another home run hitter ability. But I wouldn't be surprised if they maybe reach for somebody in the draft, or who knows if they do get him for cheap money in free agency. Why not?
They're a dangerous team. I don't like to admit it, but whatever. I don't care. Detroit.
Let's talk a little bit about Detroit. I mean, they have no coach. Everybody's kind of up in arms. Matthew Stafford gets banged up again to his ribs, which he has gotten a lot of issues with his ribs over the past X amount of years.
He's like a baby Big Ben.
Yeah.
He's always getting beat up.
Yeah, I feel sorry for him because he's a good quarterback. I like Stafford. Like Stafford's he's a competitive fucking dude. And I wish he would have been on a different team and his career would have went elsewhere. He would have been more successful with somebody else other than the Lions.
What if they draft a QB and Stafford would go to like Washington?
See, that's another guy. I mean, I would much rather take Stafford over Matt Ryan.
Oh yeah, like hands down, I take that 100%.
That'd be interesting. That'd be actually really cool. I mean, especially you got a new coach coming in, and if that's his whole deal, time to clean house.
I could see that happen.
That could happen. I mean, that's very. I mean, there's not really anybody on here. I mean, KG's been hurt. Marvin Jones is Marvin Jones. He's getting up there in age as well. I mean, T.J. Hawkinson, he's been inconsistent for them at tight end, but there's not really nobody on the roster who is a superstar that you would want to keep. Like you could literally flip this team 180, clean house, and take the next 3 years to rebuild.
I'm okay with that. I'm all right with that.
The Lions 2.0. All right, so let's move on. Let's go to the Jets. 30 to the Seahawks 40. A much needed, I would say, bounce back game for the Seahawks.
Yeah.
I don't think there's much you can say about this. We already know who the Jets are, what the Jets can and cannot do. Russell Wilson just padded his stats, 21 to 27, 206 yards, 4 touchdowns. I can't just say padded stats. He's still playing good football, but against this type of opponent, you knew what was bound to happen. Um, Made a good outing at least for the Seahawks defense. Finally able to shut somebody somewhat down 3 points.
I mean, look, we knew what this game was going to be
Yeah,
coming in just based off of what happened the previous week with the Jets.
yeah,
We know that they showed their hand. They want to lose every fucking game. Even when they're winning, they're going to lose. So if the Seahawks did not put up 40 points like they did this week, that means there's something wrong with the Seahawks.
yeah.
And Russell Wilson cooked a little bit. He still threw another interception though. So that's a little bit concerning is that, all of a sudden his Mr. Consistent is starting to throw these interceptions.
Yeah. Uh, I don't really mind it with the production. I mean, 21 and 27, only 6 of those passes were incompleted. One happened to be an interception. I don't really, I don't mind the interception in that case. It'd be different if he was throwing 206 yards and had like a 13 of 32. 13 out of 32. I'd be a bit more concerned. But hey, saw a little bit of Geno Smith action.
Yeah.
4 of 5 for 33 yards. Welcome back, Geno. On the other side of the ball, Jets. We already know what's going on. Sam Darnold is punching his ticket. He'll probably be somewhere as a backup or somewhere deep down on a depth chart after the season.
Or the scary thing would be is if he's a starter again. And I don't know, maybe it's just the fact that he's been on the Jets, but I really don't see him turning it around.
There's nothing I see from him besides the fact that he has a big arm. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't see anything spectacular at quarterback play for him besides that he has a cannon.
What position did he get drafted at?
I thought Sam Darnold was a first rounder, was he not?
Well, I know he got first overall.
No, I think he was
I know he was in the first round, but
I'm gonna have to Google it now. I want to say some reason I want to say 6 overall.
And who was the number 1 that season or that?
Let's see.
Draft?
2018. Oh, he was actually picked number 3 overall in 2018.
2018. Who was number 1?
2018. That would have been Baker Mayfield. Would have been
Was that in Dallas?
This was AT&T Stadium.
I was there. I should remember that.
You were there.
I was there. I should remember it. Oh well.
No man. I mean, third pick overall. Not even playing like it. Doesn't even look like it. So yeah. Not much we can go on. Let's move on from the Jets.
Yeah.
Let's go to the next game. Colts 44 to the Raiders 27. Hello, Mr. Phillip Rivers, 19 of 28, 244, 2 touchdowns. More importantly, hello, Jonathan Taylor, 150 yards and 2 touchdowns.
And T.Y. Hilton.
It's back-to-back weeks now, right? Back-to-back weeks?
And this week he has 2 fucking touchdowns. What a fucking dick.
Hey, he may still be on the waivers in some leagues.
I'm sure.
He may still be there.
Might be, if you want to do a Hail Mary fuck you to your opponent, pick up Ty and then pray for the best.
I mean, it's not. They're tied in their division in the South with the Titans.
Yeah,
we're both sitting at 9-4. So the T.Y. Hilton train may not be as crazy as it sounds.
Yeah.
And when is it better for a previously star wide receiver to go off than when it's crunch time right now and your team is trying to get that playoff spot secured?
Well, especially next week because Tennessee plays Detroit and the Colts play Houston. And I think Houston's the easier of the matchup than Detroit.
Jonathan Taylor's going off against Houston. I'm already going to call it.
The what?
Jonathan Taylor's going off against Houston.
Oh, yeah. Look what David Montgomery did.
David Montgomery has been consistent. This is now his 3rd game with 20-plus points.
Yeah, I mean, we'll jump into that. We'll
jump into that before we start teasing everything. All right, so Phillip Rivers looking good. The Colts looking good. Defense looking good. Offense is looking good. They're meshing. As much as we were concerned about either seeing Michael Pittman Jr. or Zach Pascal, it was, in fact, Mr. T.Y. Hilton who was back on top in his rightful place, stepping in where he needs to be.
Cheers, guy. Yeah.
He said we don't need these youngins anymore because they're not
Yeah.
getting it done. So I'm gonna have to actually play football.
Man, and Jonathan Taylor was just looking really good. And this was, I
That's
think, more of like a statement game for the Colts because, we were kind of asking last week, like, who are they? Like,
yeah,
they're almost like frauds. And then the Raiders are not just a slouch team.
yeah.
Um, at the end of the game, John Gruden said, I'm not here to make excuses, but I had this, I had that, whatever. Y'all still lost the fucking game.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, Derek Carr, he's gone back to that Derek Carr that everybody likes to criticize. 316, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Back to that inconsistency. And again, for me, it's always going to go back to this. Your top wide receiver is Nelson Aguilar. That's your top wide receiver. Not the 2 guys that you have drafted and have taken chances on in Hunter Renfrow and Henry Ruggs, who are supposed to be the great athletic specimens that at least Ruggs was. Hunter Renfrow, still had that shine, still had that burst to him as well. But they haven't made any of those big home run plays this season that they were drafted to produce or at least get the yardage for, if anything.
yeah. Just, I think it was just a bad effort from the whole team.
Yeah.
But the Colts were just dominating, and Tennessee is in trouble because I see Tennessee dropping games more than the Colts at this point.
Yeah, I mean, you have. So the teams that have secured a spot right now, we already talked Packers, Steelers, and then in the AFC West is going to be the Chiefs because Raiders, or the second best team in that division, are 5 games behind them.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Yeah. So Chiefs going on. Raiders, as entertaining as they looked in the middle of the season and looked like they could have been the dark horse candidate, just fell off a cliff. There's just inconsistency with the offense. And again, it can even go back to a little bit of playing maybe on Josh Jacobs. He didn't produce the way that I thought he was going to produce this year.
Oh yeah, and not only that is if you have him in fantasy, don't even dare start him right now. If you're even in the contention for a championship, like he should be warming up that bench. I mean, unless you're in a keeper league, free up that spot, fucking dump him somewhere. I don't know.
I don't know, man. I was a big Josh Jacobs guy. I'm just kind of disappointed by his production this season. Hopefully the guy bounces back. Let's move on to.
I think he will.
Move on to one of the first happy moments of this past week. Cowboys 30 to the Bengals 7. Welcome back, Andy Dalton. 16-23, 185, 2 touchdowns.
No. Welcome back, Dallas defense.
Well, truly. I think don't get used to it though. I think this is the only time we're gonna see that type of production against this type of team. But it was nice to see fumbles recovered, a fumble recovered for a touchdown as well. I loved it. Aldon Smith running like a freight train, almost similar to Chase Young.
Don't be so negative. You got to enjoy these moments.
No, I'm enjoying it, but I want to be real at the same time. Like I want more from my team. I want the greatness. I want everything with it, but I got to be real. They haven't done much this season. The only thing banged up about the defense is just the secondary. Other than that, I mean, you would expect these guys to make these type of plays. I think the only one that's been really consistent this year on them for defense has been DeMarcus Lawrence. He may not be there in the sack column, but as far as getting QB pressures, QB hits, and just destruction he makes in the backfield for some of these guys, he's been a damn good player. And a lot of people criticize him because they just look at the stat column and say, well, the sacks aren't there. Well, I mean, that's just one thing that comes along with it. He gets the opportunity, then yeah, you want to see him get the sacks. But when you're watching the games and you see why quarterbacks are trying to hurry up throws, it's more than likely going to be because DeMarcus Lawrence is on his ass.
Yeah. Hey, I have a question.
Yeah.
The fuck is wrong with Zeke? He should have dominated this game.
He should have. It's been the Tony Pollard show these past couple weeks.
What the fuck is going on, man?
I don't know. For a guy that just inherited $90 million from the team, he is not playing like he gives a damn.
Yeah, it's all fuck it.
He was like, "Fuck it, I got my money. I'm guaranteed deuces." I don't know. He is not the same running back. I wouldn't even consider him to be if yeah, I wouldn't even consider him to be a top 10 running back at this point for
No.
sure. Not just because of the season, but like if people were trying to talk about Zeke and we're just saying, no, Zeke's good. I was like, have you seen the guy lately? It's like
No.
ass.
I don't know. He might, in my eyes, he barely makes like top 20
Yeah.
in my head, just based off of this season. There's some other people that have really produced.
To
Like when
me,
you get more production from like Wayne Gallman than you have from Zeke,
yeah.
like what the hell?
Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with the guy. I mean, it was nice to see Andy Dalton at least get a dub. Amari Cooper, again, the only one on the team besides Demarcus Lawrence who got a fat check and is actually still playing his ass off. I can't hate on Amari Cooper. The guy can run beautiful fucking routes.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
finds ways to get fucking open.
Hats off to that guy. He's playing for his check.
Yeah.
And are y'all still have a chance, right?
It's like 1.9%. I mean, we have everybody else has to lose out, but it's still there.
It's still there.
It's still there.
Like
Cowboys got to win out though. That's it.
Yeah.
The Cowboys got to win out. It's not that it's not possible, but some of the other teams like Washington and now the Eagles, more so Washington, they're catching fire right now. And
yeah.
Washington, they always say the defense wins championships, and their defense might at least just give them the opportunity to win the NFC East.
Yeah.
Bengals.
What are you gonna say about the Bengals, man?
I mean, not much you can say. AJ Green got a touchdown. Ooh, been silent all year. Who the fook is Trayvon Williams?
I don't know, man.
Giovanni Bernard's probably been one of the most depressing backup stories.
And he was doing so good at the beginning of the season when Mixon was out, and now it's just like you said, it's depressing. Like, what happened to that man?
Yeah, and then you have Brandon Allen back there too, and there's so many problems along that offensive line. Like anybody back there is just going to get mauled. So
yeah,
they need to. I wouldn't even focus. I mean, free agency. I think they got a decent defense. They need to buff up the defense a little bit. They got a good offense, which can be a great offense. But I would say spend all the free agency, grab as whatever linemen are out there that you need, and and pretty much the entire O line.
Priority number one.
Yeah, priority number one is getting an O line to safeguard your quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's just I don't know. They already almost cost your number one draft pick his career.
Yeah, I mean, we don't even know.
Yeah,
I'm not putting that into the air, but that injury was pretty bad, and we'll see how.
Maybe he may not be as mobile. He probably will be though. But hey, at least the kid can throw. So
yeah, I mean, he's young.
You got to have an O line to give the guy time to work.
For sure.
So that's priority numero uno is beefing up the O line for the Bengals. Yeah, if they do anything other than that, whether it be in the draft, whether in free agency, sell the team.
Yeah.
Move them to San Antonio.
Do that.
So then let's go on to the next game. Cardinals 26 at the Giants 7. Man, what happened to the Giants?
Danny Dimes is Danny Pennies right now. Yeah. Like bad decisions, holding the ball too long. Arizona defense really stepped up this week.
Yeah, there was like one guy with 5 sacks, right?
Yep.
Who was it? Was it Hassan Reddick?
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah. 5 sacks in one game.
And Kyler Murray didn't really have a fantastic game. Yeah. But when your defense is playing the way it is, all you have to do is just protect the ball and
when your running back's actually at least getting over 40 yards.
Kenyon fucking Drake, man.
Maybe this is what he meant by the tweet.
That sneaky fucking bastard.
Maybe this is what he meant. He's like, I'm going to show up when it's crunch time. Not that he was going to win you the entire season, but he was going to come in the clutch when it comes to playoffs.
Yeah.
Kenyon Drake, man.
A very quiet game on the other side of the ball for Wayne Gallman, who has been balling out.
Yeah.
But that stout Arizona defense this week kind of kept him under 60 yards, which, yikes.
Which, I mean, the guy was coming off, multiple 100-yard games, or at least finding the end zone. Um, barely got over 55 yards. Made him a non-factor in this game.
Yeah.
And then you have the receiving for the Giants, who hasn't really been doing much. I mean, Golden Tate is your lead receiver in the stat column with just one reception. Everybody else had multiple receptions, but his one reception got him the most yardage for 39 yards.
Yeah. I mean, D Hop didn't find the end zone, but PPR wise, fantastic game. 9 catches, 136 yards. You would have wanted him
22 points. Boom.
You would have wanted him to score a touchdown.
Yeah.
That would have been like the icing on the cake right there. Just sprinkle that on top of the score. But no, we got Kenyon Drake with a touchdown. Yay.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, Cardinals, good win from them. Just a surprisingly poor performance by the Giants, who, I had them pegged as being one of the teams. I mean, they're still not out of the race. They're only 1 game behind. The Eagles are 2 games behind. So are the Cowboys. So again, it's still up for grabs. I mean, but Washington does have the lead as far as right now goes. So still anybody's division technically.
Technically, yeah.
Unless
the Eagles can string a couple games together.
Yeah. And the only way the Cardinals make it to the playoffs is the Rams and Seahawks both have to lose out their 2 games.
You don't see that happening.
I don't see that happening. Rams and Seahawks are both tied at 9-4. Anything can kind of happen there. I think Seahawks have a little bit more of a favorable schedule. Who knows if it's considered favorable now that they're playing Washington? I believe this coming week.
I want to say, isn't Arizona in the playoffs now because of Minnesota's loss or something like that?
Like, I don't understand how all that works, to be honest with you sometimes.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I know is
it might be.
My Bears have to win out.
Yeah.
And beat Green Bay to maybe squeak into that 8th spot. So,
and that might be the deal with Cardinals, that they were reliant on the Vikings to get that other spot. So that could be possible.
Yeah.
I'll have to take a look, but I think they still have to win out to get that as well. Let's move on. Let's go to Texans 7 to the Bears 36.
Hold on. Victory shot for me. Getting this victory shot. We should have won this game like we did.
Yeah.
But the offensive production that the Chicago Bears produced just was amazing. It was there was a run game that it starts off with a bang, 80-yard touchdown to the house. Yeah. Cheers, David Montgomery.
Thank you, David Montgomery. He's in my fantasy team.
Yeah, like a fucking stud. And then you have Mitchell Trubisky just dropping little dimes here and there. Like, it looked phenomenal. Hold on. You see this? It was BDN season. Now, BDN. Big Dick Mitch.
How long did you have this plan? When did you have this plan? Did you have this plan like all week after the game?
I don't know, man. I was excited. I was excited. It's Big Dick Mitch season now. Maybe Nick Foles season, if we're in the playoffs, he takes us to the Super Bowl. I don't know. I'm just, spitballing here.
How good does it feel that he outplayed Deshaun Watson?
Good. Put that shit to bed.
24 of 33, 267, 3 touchdowns for the Trubisky. David Montgomery, 11 carries, 113 yards, 1 touchdown. And then, of course...
So all that was like it was like in the first half.
Yeah.
They, for some reason, like to get away from the run in the second half, which is really irritating because it's working. Why go away from it?
Well, when you got Allen Robinson on the other end, too, with 9 receptions for 123 yards and a touchdown, I don't hate it.
I don't hate it either. Pay the man. Hear that, Chicago? Fuck.
Back up the Brinks truck for Robinson.
Yeah, man. The defense. Hi. I've missed you the last 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Fucking assholes. Khalil Mack being a dominant monster that he is, sacking people, getting safeties, getting fumbles. Like, this is what our defense was supposed to be the whole entire season. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened from last week to this week, but we need to win out. and we have Minnesota next week, and I'm expecting the same energy and momentum that we have or that we had against the Texans against Minnesota because Kirk Cousins is dog shit.
I'm still liking Roquan Smith for you guys. I think he had what 2 sacks that game.
I want to say, as far as like defensive player, like I wouldn't say minded him being defensive player of the year because of the numbers that he's putting up this season. I think he's leading in tackles and sacks. I don't know about in sacks, but all the other good things.
All right, let's take a look. Defensive leaders as of now for tackles: Zach Cunningham for the Houston, Jalen Smith for Dallas is right under him. So it's 127, 123, and then it's Roquan Smith at 122. I would easily put Roquan Smith if these are, and then you have Blake Martinez and Devin White. Yeah, if this is the competition that you have, he's Jalen Smith. People are just running into Jalen Smith and he's getting tackles. He's not making any stupid plays. Same thing for like Zach Cunningham.
Yeah.
But Roquan Smith, like he's getting the sacks, he's getting the tackles for losses. Easily defensive play. He's potential for defensive player of the year. I mean, the sack leaders right now though, Aaron Donald. But then there's also a case for T.J. Watt. T.J. Watt's been playing lights out too. 12.5 for Aaron Donald. T.J. Watt at 12. Those are kind of the top two guys. And then kind of a lot of people have been talking about lately. Just because of the interceptions, Xavier Howard with 9 interceptions for Miami. He's a
crazy.
Bit of kind of under the radar because I mean again it is a DB. They're not normally these awards go to like the defensive ends or the tackles. Yeah. But hey, he's got every case to argue. I would argue Xavier Howard, Roquan Smith are the top 2 dogs right now.
Not gonna be mad at that. Yeah. Going back to the game. Mr. Trubisky, no turnovers. That was the number one thing for me is he didn't turn the ball over.
He looked like a competent quarterback.
Yeah.
He looked like the guy that was supposed to be drafted at the spot that he was drafted at.
Exactly. So now, this whole burn the fucking team down, get a new quarterback, with him playing the way he is right now, I'm predicting that they're going to extend this asshole and will get rid of Nick Foles and maybe draft a quarterback late.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's really, things are up in the air. I said, I'm very fickle.
His job is dependent on these next 2 games for Trubisky. If he can play like this these next 2 games and finish out, then I think he's safe.
Oh, if he can beat Minnesota and beat Green Bay at the end of the season, they're going to throw a parade for this man.
So let's go to at least a little bit of the Houston team. Not much you can really say. I mean, Deshaun Watson is at least because we have to at least we gotta give Houston a little bit of credit. I mean, the only thing is Deshaun Watson's doing as much as he can with what he has. He virtually doesn't have any wide receivers. They traded off his best wide receiver at the beginning of the season for a pack of peanuts and David Johnson, who, hey, look, he's not on the stat sheet. Nobody saw that coming. David Johnson stay healthy for a season? No.
Nope. Not happening.
Not much you can say. This is another team that's kind of in, I wouldn't say rebuild mode, but there's a lot of missing pieces on offense that have to be filled in quickly while you're not trying to waste the prime of Deshaun Watson's career.
Or his health, for that reason. Like, he's taking some shots that he doesn't need to be taking.
Yeah.
And you would have thought, knowing that he was probably like the most sacked quarterback last season, he's still getting sacked at the same rate. And, that does a lot to your body. And what are they going to do if he gets hurt? Like, who's his backup?
I don't even know who his backup is, to be honest.
Doesn't matter.
Is what's his name still there?
I want to say his backup actually had to play this game because he took a shot and he had a helmet hit his fucking elbow, and I guess like it fucked with his nerves.
Oh yeah, it's AJ McCarron. AJ McCarron bounced around with the Bengals and everybody else, but
Yeah.
AJ McCarron's not going to be that guy.
Yeah, that's a good plan right there for y'all. So
All right, so congrats to the Bears.
oh,
Congrats to Big
before
Mitch. Go for it.
before we get to that, one of the best sequences that I saw
Mm-hmm.
was the Texans owner was in a fucking one of those suites, right?
Yeah.
So it was already towards it was probably like late in the third quarter. He's over here with his cowboy boots looking like this. His wife is like asleep next to him. Like mouth open, kind of fucking dead.
Just in the
I
season.
thought that shit was hilarious
in
because they didn't
the
like
season.
they didn't like pan out. They fucking sat right.
Yeah.
They just let it sit on them for a
I'm
while.
surprised I didn't see
And
that on
just,
Twitter. At least that should have been retweeted so many
I loved
times.
it. All right, I'm gonna find it for you now. We'll share
Current season mode.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's go to the Broncos, who got, I would say, the upset win, 32 over the Panthers, 27. Here, again, another one of those weird ass.
I think I called this one.
You did call it, but one of those weird ass
Carolina
quarterbacks.
is nothing without CMC.
No, truly. But no, I mean, homeboy found the end zone twice, Mike Davis. But I mean, it's not like he was putting up super stupid yardage numbers on the stats. But I mean, he found the end zone when needed to find the end zone. But again, it's one of those weird deals where Drew Lock, where he plays out of his mind, and then he can easily go back to the next week and throw 3 interceptions and 1 touchdown and throw for like 250 yards. So I'm still not sold on Drew Lock as being that guy for the Broncos. But
he's very
high. I don't know. But then you see him do shit like this, and you're just like, what is Drew Lock?
Maybe he just needs a little bit more experience.
Yeah.
Because some of the plays that he does make, he was dropping dimes out there.
Yeah, I mean,
I was surprised.
He's another quarterback that got, stupid rocket arm, but then he's just also can be that same guy that's just super inconsistent, holds on to the ball for way too long, or tries to do too much with the play. And unlike guys like Josh Allen, something happens out of it, but normally something doesn't happen. It collapses on him.
But, yeah, like, if anything, I would like to party with Drew Lock. He looks like one of those frat boys that, like, I think he parties. And he's in Denver, so not saying that,
there's a potential correlation there. Yeah, the NFL can get rid of that already.
He looks like he knows how to throw a party.
Okay, fair. The Drew Lock, the party throwing and touchdown throwing quarterback, 280 yards, 4 touchdowns. Panthers, Teddy Bridgewater, very silent game for him, at least touchdown-wise in the air. Still didn't hurt too much of the Robbie Anderson production. Robbie Anderson, 8 receptions, 84 yards. Good 16.5 points for you there. But total different team when CMC is on the backfield.
Yeah, and I don't think we're going to see him for the rest of the season, to be honest.
Again, and I said that would probably be the best option for the Panthers, though, because he's coming off of 2 injuries alone this season. So you don't want to, Barry Sanders, the guy, and have him have a short career. You would hope that he doesn't. I would hope he doesn't see the field. There's no point. I mean, they're 4-9. There's no point to have him on there. Let the guy rest. Give him the next 2 games. There's no pressure on him. He's not playing for any crazy stats anyways either. So to me, there's no rush for him to be out there.
Yeah, this was a terrible blow for fantasy owners, especially since he was probably going like first overall pick.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to, as a team owner, I would probably have him just deactivated. Let's focus on next season, especially with the way they've been playing lately.
No, I agree. If I'm GM or I'm coaching staff, whoever, that's my idea. It's like there's no reason for him to extend himself out there. He's already coming off of 2 back-to-back injuries. Why gamble? You're not playing for anything, so why take the gamble? There's no reason to gamble, pretty much.
I agree. Sorry, Carolina. Maybe next year.
So we'll move on. Chiefs 33 to the Dolphins 27. Again,
it's so close.
so close. I mean, Tua looked really good, but then he lost, his two top wide receivers and also his tight end for a bit as well. Gasecki with the shoulder injury, and then Jakeem Grant got hurt as well as Devontae Parker.
Yeah. So, has anything been said about Kaseki? Because he was grabbing his shoulder. I thought maybe he might have like dislocated
Yeah,
or
it's
like
day to day. I
he broke his
mean,
collarbone.
it's day to day, and I'm sure with it being this close, he's a team that's in the playoff hunt still. I don't think they're gonna pretty much keep it close to the chest with this one, especially with how good Gasecki has been for them at the tight end spot. I don't know. I haven't seen anything recently, which is kind of concerning. Um, so I don't really know. I mean, the Dolphins, they're sitting tied right now, correct? With the tied, yeah. No, actually sorry. They're 2 games behind the Bills. So the Bills pretty much got a good run for it. They just got to at least win one of the 2 next games. Dolphins have to win out.
Yeah, that's gonna be tough for them. I mean, I don't know. I could see them beating New England next week.
What the only deal that concerns me is the injuries to the wide receiver core, and then also to your running game for the Dolphins.
Yeah.
You had to rely on DeAndre Washington of all people.
Yeah, that's rough.
It's just a tough time for Tua right now. The kid looks good though.
You know what looks fantastic? Their fucking defense.
Again, Xavier Howard, man. I mean, that's kind of like the key factor of that defense, but in general.
Hey, who am I? Let's count out those fucking interceptions, Patrick Mahomes. Count those out, asshole. I don't know. I'm telling you, he's giving me those Aaron Rodgers vibes already, and I used to like the guy.
Maybe it's because they spend too much time in the State Farm commercials together.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm boycotting that fucking insurance too.
The smugness is rubbing off on him.
Yeah, assholes.
But yeah, this is kind of that game, like I mentioned before, where the race is kind of between him and Rodgers right now as far as the best QB and possible MVP winner for this season. He kind of got a little bit sidetracked in this one with the 3 interceptions, 2 touchdowns. Still had the 393 yards in the ground on the air though.
Yeah, well, the thing is, this just goes to show how good the Miami Dolphins defense is.
Yeah.
Like, this is probably one of like the number 1 quarterback other than Aaron Rodgers, right? And they made it a game. The defense is what made it competitive.
No, I mean, just looking at that alone, Mahomes on any other defense throwing 393 yards would probably be accompanied by 5 touchdowns.
Yeah. I mean, Tyreek Hill, like you were saying, like he's not putting up the numbers like you would say, like in Green Bay with Devontae Parker or Devontae Adams. Sorry, he's a more of like big play numbers.
Yeah,
like this is what he lives off of, is that big play to burn the guy that he's getting guarded by. The run game is now non-existent there.
Yeah, I'm not too happy with the whole Clyde Edwards production. It's been a hit or miss these past couple weeks, and I don't know if I take a gamble on him these next coming 2 weeks. Like if I'm trying to win a fantasy league.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. I haven't started him in a couple weeks, to be honest. And then they go like Le'Veon Bell's not really doing anything either.
Yeah, and again, that was like a big deal when they picked him up. Was that Lev Bell's now with the Chiefs? They're definitely going to be unstoppable in the backfield. And they thought he was going to give Clyde Edwards a back seat. And Bell hasn't really contributed to anything in the run game.
Yeah, he could stay wanting to be an RB1 all he wants.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just weird with this Chiefs team. Like these games are close, but thankfully they have this stupid explosive offense that can, hey, you might beat our defense, but we're at least going to outscore you.
Yeah. I mean, you have Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
And that's Mahomes' bread and butter right there. That's his security blanket.
Yeah.
This is almost like Tom Brady and Gronkowski in the good days.
See, I think the only thing that happened here was the injuries that the Dolphins got in their offense, because then it started to slow down. I mean, because you're going look if you just look at the not even that's actually more for Kansas City, but still I think it was just more of the injuries that kind of just took the wind out of the Dolphins offense, because you got to meet a high powered offense with at least some type of semi powered offense, if you will, to keep up with these guys. And thankfully, they have a good enough defense to make it as competitive as a game as it was. But again, losing his three key offensive weapons at one point, I don't know what else you're going to expect from Tua at that point to try and win you the game.
Yeah, man. But look, I see this as a win for Miami.
Yeah.
Like, you only lost by 6 points. Like, this is really impressive for Miami, especially with the season that they've been having. And this was an expected win for Kansas City. But this goes to show that they're not immortal. Like, they can be beat.
Yeah.
That's enough about them.
So let's go to Vikings 14 to the Buccaneers 26. Yeah. What can you say here about the Vikings? Dalvin Cook is doing what he can for this team. It's just a quarterback play. Kirk Cousins, who you said, can he ever be that guy? And apparently, no, he cannot.
He can't. He can't. And Tom Brady just showed him out.
Yeah.
It was a good game by him. I mean,
yeah,
a lot of people are like, "Oh, he's not accurate, long bombs."
Then chunks the 40
and Scotty Miller, out of all people, would benefit.
Welcome back, Scotty Miller, who took a backseat to the rise of Antonio Brown. Welcome back.
Yeah. I mean, I'm really impressed with Ronald Jones, though.
Yeah, he hasn't been looking bad these past couple of weeks. Actually, this season, he's looked good. I think there was no need to ever go for Leonard Fournette.
Hey, and Leonard Fournette was a healthy scratch.
Yeah.
So I think that's more concerning.
You have an aged LaShawn McCoy getting more play time than you healthy?
Yeah, I mean, that just goes to show, like, the Jaguars weren't that crazy letting him go.
As questionable as it looked, that now seeing how Fournette runs with the ball, it makes a lot of sense.
A lot of sense.
But much needed bounce back win here for Brady and company, I would say. Especially, I mean, because the 2 prior weeks, I mean, they really hadn't done much, and then Brady throwing the multiple interceptions, back-to-back games. They're still 2 games behind the Saints, who looks like they already have it clinched, I believe, in the NFC South. So
they need to win out.
Yeah.
And then Minnesota, I mean, they're playing for their playoff. I mean, everyone in the NFC North is, except for the Lions, is playing for that 8th position right now. So we're going to beat them next week. They're going to be crying because they're not going to make the playoffs. So it's a win-win.
All right, so let's move on. We got up next the Titans 31 to the Jaguars 10. I don't think there's really much you can say for the Jags. Minshew's coming back next week, though.
Well, I mean, they put Minshew back, so we got a little bit of Minshew mania back.
Yeah.
Right? But this just goes to show the nonsense that's happening with the Jaguars.
Yeah. I mean, again, the only thing that I like about the Jags is, as I always introduce them, the undrafted free agent rookie running back James fucking Robinson.
Yeah.
And where is James Robinson right now on the stats? He is actually sitting number 3 overall in yardage.
If you put him on a team with a competent quarterback that's airing it out to his receivers, he's going to kill.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
He's going to kill. So this is good. I think they're building in Jacksonville.
Titans, Ryan Tannehill having one of those good games where he looks like a really good quarterback. 19 to 24, 212 yards. But then it also helps that your running back rushes for 215 yards and 2 touchdowns.
He looks unstoppable out there. He looks like he's he's a man playing against like Pee Wee football.
It truly does, though. There's
Like, it looks ridiculous sometimes.
yeah, it's unfair, some of these matchups that you see Derrick Henry just take advantage of. And then, of course, A.J. Brown, who's been on a heater recently.
Yeah.
7 receptions, 112 yards, 1 touchdown.
He looks good.
Yeah, Titans, I mean, they're playing, again, they're tied in their division with the Colts right now, 9-4. So these next 2 games are going to be a roller coaster ride for these teams. And they both got to focus on winning out.
It's weird. Like, they look so dominant in a game like this.
Yeah.
But they get matched up with someone with a competent defense. And then you see Derrick Henry go from like being used over and over and over again to just getting sidelined. And that's what I don't understand.
And then you see when they rely too much on Ryan Tannehill, they don't have the same type of outcome.
Yeah.
In regards to their offense looking this clean. When Derrick Henry's turning, it takes a lot of pressure off of Tannehill. When the pressure's on Tannehill, then this team is a whole different team.
And it takes a lot of time off the clock. So
True.
that.
Yeah, I mean, when you keep the ball for like 8 fucking minutes, you're not giving much time to anybody else.
Yeah.
Let's move on. You got the Patriots, abysmal 3 points to the Rams, 24. Again, who, what, why are the Rams? Who knows? Cam Akers, one of the better rookie running backs, 29, besides Robinson, 29, 171 yards on the ground. He has been catching fire lately. Jared Goff, again, he just has to be that game manager when his running game is this good.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting this at all. I thought there was going to be a little bit more heart out of New England.
Yeah, especially off of that big shutout win against the Chargers.
Yeah, man. I don't know. This is weird. It was a weird game. Also, like Cam Newton, we've been saying it. He does not look like the MVP Cam Newton from a couple years back.
Yeah, that guy's long gone.
You think he's gone forever?
I don't know. I mean, somebody else may try the Cam Newton experiment this coming year. I don't think like he's long gone. I think he'll be on the depth chart. I just don't see him as a starter.
That right there is devastating. Like, this guy was an MVP quarterback.
No, for sure, yeah.
And he went to the Super Bowl, lost, right? Yeah. But you know who also went to the Super Bowl and is not starting in the NFL? Huh?
Nick Foles?
No, Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah, true.
So it goes to show the rise and the fall it's real. It's real in the NFL.
It truly is, and this is a living case of it. You can look at the film. He does not look like the same type of quarterback. His throws do not look like the same type of rocket arm throws that he once had, and it's just like 2 different shades of the guy.
Yeah, he has the rocket power. Yeah. He has the power. It's the accuracy.
The trajectory is just off.
It's been like that the whole season, and it's so weird.
I don't know. He's throwing sinkers. He's a weird case. I don't know what happened to him. The guy regressed, multiple injuries. I don't know. I always root for Cam. I like Cam. There's nothing besides that he does the whole fashion weird dressing thing. That's on him. But you got to separate the art from the artist. I'm cool with that. But he's a guy that I feel I can root for, and that's just kind of what's sad is that I want him to be great, but he has not looked as good as like maybe the first week 2, week 3 is when he looked really good. When everybody was like, "Oh, Cam might be back," and since then it's just
No, he was back because he had the rushing touchdowns, and that's the only thing. He has more rushing touchdowns than actual like air touchdowns. So
fair.
Moving on.
All right, so that's it for Week 14. Let's move on to the Week 15 pickems. Then we'll do the fantasy picks, and we will call it a wrap. So let's start with some Thursday night football. The Chargers at Las Vegas. I'm gonna go Chargers here.
Same. Justin Herbert is gonna have himself a game in Vegas, and then he's gonna shoot some craps. I don't know. Is he old enough?
No, yeah, he's got to be old. He's got to be like 22. He's got to be.
No, not with that haircut.
Yeah, no, the haircut. They won't let him in with that haircut. They'll be like, all right, nice try, kid. Get out of
Can't
here.
even get to the strip club with that haircut.
Then you got so Saturday afternoon and night football. You got Buffalo at Denver. I'm gonna go with the hot hand. It's got to be Buffalo here.
Oh, come on, man. Yeah. So, Saturday's gonna be a little tricky.
Yeah,
So you can't be mad at me if I have my phone out at some point on Saturday.
true, 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 true.
All right.
So then you got Carolina at Green Bay. I gotta go Green Bay here.
I
And
have to
then
go Green Bay because I'm trying to get some points now. Like, I hope for some reason Carolina just gets a win. Something has to happen. I
then
don't
you got
I don't expect it to, but you know, I
and
gotta
then
keep
we
dreaming.
got a list of it's all 1 p.m. games, not 12 p.m. games for Sunday. To start it off, you got San Fran at Dallas. So I'm gonna stick with my team here. I'm gonna go with the boys. Home game. Why not?
I'm gonna go with San Francisco.
Bro, I picked the Bears with you last week. You gonna do this to
I
me?
know, but I'm trying to get points now.
All right, then you got Seattle at Washington. I'm actually gonna go with the upset. I'm gonna go Washington here, and I'll lead into this with the next segment.
I'll go Seattle here.
Then you got Chicago at Minnesota. I'm gonna go with the Bears here.
Yeah. Hey, what time is it?
BDM season, ladies and gents. BDM.
Read it.
Then you got New England at Miami. I'm gonna go Miami.
Yeah, I think Cam Newton's in for at least like 2 interceptions.
Yeah, both by Xavier Howard.
Yeah.
Then you got Jacksonville at Baltimore. Um, I'm gonna stay with the guy that dropped a deuce at the Browns, and then on top of the Browns, so I'm gonna go Baltimore.
That was good. I like it. I'm with you on that one.
And then we got Tampa Bay at Atlanta. You know what? I'm gonna be crazy. I'm gonna go Atlanta here with the upset.
I'm going Tampa Bay.
I don't blame you. Then you got Detroit at Tennessee. This should be an easy game for Tennessee.
Upset Detroit.
Okay. Then we got a little bit of Houston at Indianapolis. Hey, Indianapolis team's on fire right now. Got to go Indy.
Yeah, you can't go. You can't go with Houston right now.
Yeah, you just can't. And then you got Philadelphia at Arizona. Um, I think this is the game where Jalen Hurts is going to have a tough time.
Yeah, maybe.
I got to go Arizona here.
I'm going with the upset.
Okay.
Her season.
Then you got Jets at the Rams.
Man, this is a fucking layup.
Yeah, Rams here. Then you got Kansas City at New Orleans. It depends on who's quarterback. If it's Taysom Hill, I gotta go Kansas City. If it's Nola, I think. I mean, even with Breeze though, I don't know. I think
Yeah,
Kansas
I
City
still have to go with Kansas City here.
because the Saints defense has just been MIA. They had actually a good last couple of weeks, but recently, not the same defense. Then you got Cleveland at the Giants. Gotta go Cleveland here
Yeah, Cleveland and then Pittsburgh at Cincinnati.
for some Monday Night
Gotta go.
Football. Pittsburgh. What if Cincinnati just takes it to them? That would be amazing.
That would be a complete meltdown for
I
Pittsburgh.
would love to see Steelers Twitter just go
Love to
crazy.
see it.
But won't happen.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go to the for sure shots and long shots for our fantasy picks. Let's start off with quarterbacks. Would you like to go first or myself,
Yeah.
sir?
Yeah, my long shot is going to be Hurst at Arizona.
Okay.
And my for sure shot that's going to win you a championship berth would be Justin Herbert.
Justin Herbert. Okay. Yeah, I mean that's a for sure for any fantasy team. I think that's a good. Yeah, against Vegas, they're struggling right now. Long shot for me is going to be Nick Mullins at Dallas.
Whoa.
For sure shot for me is going to be Baker Mayfield at the Giants.
Yeah.
And then let's go on to running backs. Who are your running backs?
Running backs. Let's go. fuck, man. Running backs are real,
Really thinned out right now.
really thinned out. Okay, so my long shot will be. Do it. No, long shot will be Ronald Jones
Okay.
for sure. There's going to be David Montgomery in Minnesota. Statement game.
All right. Long shot for me is going to be Ezekiel Elliott against San Fran.
Okay.
For sure shot for me is actually going to be Jonathan Taylor against Houston.
Oh.
That should be their run defense is atrocious.
Yeah.
You should at least have 125 yards, 2 touchdowns.
3 even.
Three even.
3 even.
So let's go wide receivers. Give me your wide receivers.
So for sure, I'm going Brown with Tennessee.
Hmm.
Long shot. It's like shooting fish in a barrel right here. Long shot. I'm going AB. AB is going to score a touchdown this week.
Okay. For sure shot for me, I'm gonna go. I think one of the best favorable matchups here is gonna be Scary Terry against Seattle secondary.
Ooh.
I think he can have a big game. He's due from when he's been quiet the last 2 weeks. I think that's he's going against one of the worst secondaries at this point.
Yeah.
Besides Dallas, but yeah, I think he's got a good chance here. Long shot would have to be any Jacksonville wide receiver at Baltimore. So let's go to defense. No, tight ends.
Tight ends, you go.
For sure shot, I'm gonna have to go with Darren Waller against the Chargers. Long shot, I'm gonna go Hawkinson at Tennessee. A long shot.
Okay. My for sure shot would be Jimmy Graham.
Okay.
Long shot, Logan Thomas.
Okay, fair. And then let's end it off with defenses for sure shots and long shots.
Man, for sure is Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Long shot would be Washington.
Okay. For sure shot for me is going to be Miami's defense against New England. Long shot for me is going to be it's a pretty good one. I would say long shot's going to be New Orleans against Kansas City.
Okay. I like it.
That's good. So that's an episode. I mean, knocked out the Week 14 runback, knocked out fantasy pickems and fantasy points.
You know what's gonna how we're gonna start off next week?
Oh,
with 2 dubs.
2 dubs. Salute to that.
Cheers.
Cheers, my guy.
Hit that shit, both of you.